I understand you want to announce an important milestone in the crisis in Syria.
Yes, as a matter of fact, we unfortunately have reached 1 million refugee children that had to flee the country. You have about 2 million children internally displaced inside Syria and millions of others trapped by the conflict. I think we need to recognize that Syria faces the risk of a lost generation.
You call this a shameful milestone.
It is a shameful milestone, and it's dramatic that in today's world there is not the capacity to stop a war like this.
I understand most of these children are under the age of 11. Is that true?
It is absolutely true. About 75% of the children are under the age of 11. And that is why the traumatic impact is so terrible. These children will live with everything they have suffered for the rest of their lives. I've seen children that are speechless, with strange forms of behavior, enormous levels of trauma by violence, children that have seen their houses bombed or members of their family being killed, that had to walk for miles to reach safety.
Has the world failed the children of Syria?
Yes.
Mr. High Commissioner, what is your reaction to the dramatic images of civilian deaths, including many children that we've seen this week from Syria?
What we are seeing is an escalation of the conflict, and unfortunately, my guess is that things will get worse before eventually they might start to get better.
This conflict has been going on for 2 years. What would be the words you would use to describe what this impact has been on civilians in Syria, fleeing out of Syria?
It's devastating. It's a devastating impact. We have now about 1/2 of the Syrian population in need of humanitarian assistance.
Until this crisis ends, what can the world do to help these refugees?
I think 2 things. First, to enormously increase the humanitarian aid, supporting the humanitarian agencies, and secondly, to massively support the neighboring countries, the refugee hosting countries. Lebanon, Jordan, Turkey, and Iraq are making a dramatic effort, but they are facing enormous difficulties.
Do you agree that Syria is poised to become the greatest humanitarian disaster of our time?
Undoubtedly, the greatest humanitarian disaster of the present century, and we are still going on. So if things do not stop, and even if they stop today, there will be an enormous number of humanitarian problems to be solved, and there will be a dramatic challenge of reconstruction.